good afternoon. If you are just joining us, it is still Broad Street Radio, your number one authoritative business radio. Yes, it is the time where we want to talk about health and wellness. My name still remains Charles Fakruha, your regular host on health and wellness. You know, they said you cannot continue to walk. You just have to have some time to unwind and rest. And today's topic is specifically for the media people, journalists, editors, reporters, anchor, but of course, other workers can also learn from it. The topic we are looking at understanding stress and its impacts on journalists. Yes, my little interaction with journalists when I came into the profession, the first thing I noticed was stress in the faces of the people I meet in the newsroom. When we are preparing for a live shoot, every recorded program, I can see stress. And being somebody from that background of biochemistry, and done some health work, I begin to say, must they continue like this? There should be a way of handling or managing this stress to achieving, a work-life balance. So I've always been an advocate to ensure that because you work in a high-stress environment does not mean that there is no way to balance that stress or manage the stress. So that is why today we'll be looking at understanding stress and its impact on journalists. But first of all, what is even stress? What is stress? Stress is a natural physiological response to a perceived threat or pressure. It triggers the release of hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, which prepares the body to either fight or flee. Stress is a natural physiological response to a perceived threat or pressure. It triggers the release of hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which prepares the body to either fight or flight or flee, as the case may be. What are some of the sources of stress for journalists? Before I continue, let me just take one quote. Take care of your body. It is the only place you have to live. So I'm appealing not only to journalists, but my friends in the financial service industry, my friends in the oil and gas industry, even my friends in government house, politics and all that. Take care of your body. It is the only place you have to live. That was given to us by a business philosopher, Jim Roy. So what are the sources of stress, specifically for journalists? Yes, one, deadline pressure, trauma exposure, covering traumatic events such as natural disaster, conflict, crime can lead to emotional distress and stress for journalists. And I've seen so many of them when they go and cover an event, when they come back to the office, in the newsroom, being an analyst for so many of these media houses and also anchoring program, I see the stress from these young reporters when they come from events they have gone to cover. And if I just merely going to cover an event, it's stress enough. You are running around with your cameraman, and other things, But again, I'm happy that we have a lot of innovations. You can see a cameraman that can, I wouldn't say multitask, but they can conduct an interview for their guests and all that. And the camera will just be there. They will just be focusing the camera and they are the ones asking the question. So that is try to improving their skills. Okay, so trauma exposure, job insecurity. The rapidly changing media landscape, coupled with the rise of online news sources, can create uncertainty and stress about job security. Yes, and the only way for you to tackle job insecurity is be your best. Be your best so that they will know, they will see the quality of your work. Public scrutiny. Journalists are often subject to public criticism, which can be stressful and affect their self-esteem. Of course, that's why you say journalists, that is the fourth estate of the realm. You are not supposed to be partial. You are just an habiter, a facilitator. But from time to time, as human beings, people see where you swing to. Maybe a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, whether you belong to this party or not this party, Because when people see that you keep criticizing government, criticizing, they say, well, what is it? Can't you see anything good? And that's why some journalists, yes, from the training they have gotten, they will tell you when the government of the day is doing the right thing and everybody's saying it, they will praise. And when they are not doing the right thing, they will criticize. So, but the public will begin to see, because as journalists, you shape the perspective of the discussions. You sway people. So it's a privilege for you to talk to the mic and people see you, or whatever media, whether it's online media, whether it is the electronic media. So you are subjected to criticism, and it should be part. It's for us. It's for me. It's feedback. I've seen senior colleagues who say, "Oh, that's your program on so and so topic. You didn't do it well," and I take that criticism in good faith and improve in what I'm doing, because the essence, like we have said, is to entertain, educate, inform, and at the same time even persuade. You change the opinion of people for them to see what is good for the society. So long working hours, these are some of the sources of stress. Long working hours. In fact, I was asking a colleague, yes, I said, you want me to do a show for you? It's just a 10-minute show at 6:15, and you're already, at the studio. How did you get there? When he leaves his house as early as possible, and he's there. So imagine those who take who cast the news, maybe the 10 o'clock news, by the time they finish by 11, how will they be coming to their house? So there are a lot of issues there. So journalists often work long hours, irregular hours, including nights, weekends, and holidays, which can disrupt their work-life balance and lead to stress. One of the first things I learned, going into broadcasting was journalism is not a 9-to-5 job. It has no time. And just the few training I did, as I am moving around, I see an event I want to capture. I want to take photograph. I want to do video. It's just instinct. It's there. Okay? In fact, I went for an event. I wasn't surprised. It was even a family event, But some of the things I was seeing there, I wanted to capture them. So it is inbuilt in journalists, broadcasters, whether print or whether electronic or even online, you want to capture an event. So you don't have a regular hour like the normal 9-to-5. No. I used to joke with some colleagues while I was in one television station. I used to joke that when you are coming to the office in the morning and there is a fire outbreak, you will come back to the office, take permission from admin, they provide the vehicle, then you now go back as if that event or fire will be waiting for you. So whatever you have there, you just capture, and then you come to that's on the go. You get your information, you cover events. So what are the impacts of stress on journalists? Burnout. Chronic stress can lead to burnout, characterized by emotional exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced performance. Anxiety and depression. Stress can contribute to the development of anxiety and depression in journalists. Yes. Physical health problem. Chronic stress can lead to physical health problems such as cardiovascular diseases, digestive issues, and of course, sleep imbalance. Impaired cognitive function. Stress can impair cognitive function, including attention, memory, and of course, decision making. Of course, decrease job satisfaction. All these are some of the impact of stress on journalists. Now, what are some of the signs? Before I go into that, let me take a quote. Exercise is a great way to reduce stress and anxiety. Is like magic pill for your mental health. I'll take it again. Exercise is a great way to reduce stress and anxiety. It's like magic pill for your mental health. I encourage all journalists to please exercise a lot, no matter how short it is, try and exercise. And it's an opportunity to also tell media houses that you need to do a lot of training for your editors, for your cameramen, for your anchor, your presenters, all those boys at the back office, on stress management. Yes. And my humble self, I run a training program on that. Okay, so what are some of the signs of stress in journalism? Of course, increased irritability. You are bringing a story to the newsroom and they want to take it live. And the producer is saying, this, you are getting irritable. Difficulty sleeping. Physical complaints. Journalists may experience physical complaints such as headache, stomach problems, or muscle tension. Withdrawals. Journalists may withdraw from colleagues, friends, family, or avoid social interaction. Of course, decrease motivation. Chronic stress can lead to decreased motivation, which can negatively impact journalists' performance and job satisfaction. So these are some of the signs. And so if you are a senior journalist, in your media house, please, it's your responsibility to encourage the younger journalists that are coming up. And when you see some of these signs, please don't just rule them out. Oh, they were not properly trained. Oh, these ones are just online, is internet journalists. They don't look for the news and all that. Please try and encourage them. I will not leave this studio before talking about managing stress for journalists. How do journalists manage this stress? Number one thing you need to do is self-care. Self-care. Encourage journalists to prioritize self-care, including exercise, meditation, and relaxation technique. Yes, you can be stressed. In fact, don't tell me, oh, you are experienced broadcast journalist. I'm not afraid of the camera. But if you are sincere to yourself, each time you are going for just a recording or a live show, you still have that some little butterflies in you. Okay? So normally what most people do is deep breathing. And they relax themselves. Okay? So exercise, meditation, and relaxation technique. Time management is very, very key. You must manage your time as a journalist. Help journalists manage their workload and prioritize tasks to reduce deadline pressure. And for me, I normally tell, if I'm invited to any show as a guest, if your show is for 4:30, if I'm late by 4, I should be at your studio. Or if it's an online interview, 30 minutes to that, I'm already setting up my equipment. Whether it is going to be via the laptop or via the phone, my earpiece, I am already ready. Why is it Zoom? I'm already ready 30 minutes to that program. Yes, and I'm relaxed. Okay? So not rushing to the studio even as a guest. So time management is also very important. Support network. Establish support network, including peer support groups, counseling services, and employee assistance program. That is where I employ the owners of these media houses to take care of their employees very well. Trauma training. Provide training on trauma exposure, including recognizing signs of trauma managing trauma, managing traumatic stress, and seeking support. That is very, very key. And in fact, that is the core of the training I run for journalists now. Trauma training, where we provide training on trauma exposure, including recognizing the signs of trauma, managing trauma and traumatic stress, and of course, seeking support. When I run this training program, I normally talk about there is this photojournalist, there was a war somewhere, and a little child he actually won best photojournalist at that period. He took a picture of a photograph of a young, starving, dying child. He took that picture and he ran to go and catch his flight, and the vulture was just there waiting, to. It was a traumatic experience. And what happened? I think that particular journalist committed suicide or something like that, or he became depressed. Okay, so we run that kind of trauma training so that journalists should also become compassionate. Yes, you are there to cover a story, report a story, but at the same time, those privileges that are given to you, you should make use of them very well. Organizational support. Encourage news organizations to prioritize journalist well-being, including providing resources, support, and a healthy work environment. So these are some of the ways that journalists can manage stress. Self-care, time management, support network, trauma training, organizational support. Before I close the show, let me take some quotes. Stress is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It means you are pushing yourself to be better. The best way to reduce stress is to take action. Don't let stress build up. Tackle it heads on, according to David Allen. When you are under stress, your body fight or flight response is triggered. Take a deep breath and remind yourself you are in control. Thank you. That's our show for today.